Welcome to the Kids Kicking Cancer program. Power, peace, purpose. That's what it's all about. We teach children that no matter what they face in their lives, they can breathe in this amazing light and push out pain, fear, anger, stress. We teach them that they are in control, even though there's a situation in their lives that they feel anything but having any sense of control. I have a black belt, and the very first time that I was privileged to work with a child where this young man was being held down and prodded and poked, and two nurses are holding him down. A third nurse has a large syringe to plunge in his chest. And I just walked in on the scene and I said, wait. And they all looked at me. I was directing a camp for kids with cancer at the time after the loss of our first child. Excuse me. And this young man, he was screaming so awful. He stopped screaming. And the nurses stopped and they all looked at me, and I didn't have a clue what I was going to say next. And I just said to the nurses, could you give me 5 minutes with this child? And the nurses were very happy to leave. And the little boy looked at me like I was the president. I had just stilled his execution. He just got a pardon from on high. And I walked over to the child and I told him I'm a black belt. And I explained to him in the martial arts you learn, you could breathe in the light and blow out the darkness. And this is what you can do. And 5 minutes later, we're doing a simple Tai Chi breathing technique. 20 minutes later, they pulled out the needle. They looked up at the nurse and he said, did you do it yet? And that's when Kids Kicking Cancer was born. So this was 21 years ago we started Kids Kicking Cancer. And since then, we've worked with children now in 92 institutions in 7 countries. And our goal is to lower the pain of 1 million children. Children are all different types of pain. 1 million children by 2025. So I want to thank the docs and the nurses and the people that we have aligned with, people on my faculty at the medical school at the Wayne State University. But I want to thank the therapists. And who are they? Well, we have wonderful martial artists, hundreds of them across the globe, who are teaching children how to do this. But I want to thank a group of therapists that you know very well. That's yourselves. What? You haven't signed on yet. You may not know martial arts. No, you are part of the therapy. Because when we tell the children power, we let them know that they can breathe in this light and that they can take control over their lives. That's power. And peace is that they can use it to calm down pain, fear, and anger. We actually have functional MRIs of kids' brains, knowing that we can change the trajectory of that pain. But there's something more. Purpose means that they're teaching the world. And when you're watching them, you're letting them know they have purpose. When you comment to this Facebook feed, and you don't have to comment about me and mention that I'm tall and good looking. You know, we already know that. It's about the kids. When you let the children know that you're watching them, that they inspire you, you add a level of therapy that is profound to their lives. And our ultimate goal is to have millions of people following us, millions of people watching us, millions of people responding to the children, so that we can walk into a hospital room, whether it's in Italy or Israel or Zimbabwe, all places where we have programs. And we can let each child know that if you can move your arms more today, people are going to learn from you how to breathe in the light and blow out the darkness. People are watching you. And when the children know that there's a purpose, it changes them. One of the greatest challenges that our children have is that they're different from their friends, especially the children in our oncology program, Kids Kicking Cancer. We're healthy, happy kids playing ball, and one day they found a bump or got tired or bruises that are unusual. And next week they realize that their life is different, they've changed. They have no power over their lives, they're not in control. They're different from their friends. We teach the children early on from the first intervention, you are different. You're going through something pretty tough, but you're a teacher. And when you do it, people are watching you. And when they're watching you, they're learning how to use this breath, how to use this power, how to create their own peace. You guys are teaching the world. So today, I want to begin by thanking you. You are our therapists. You are watching the children. You're commenting to the children. You're letting them know that they're teachers. We did a program for opioid addicts, heroin and fentanyl addicts in the inner city of Detroit. And people who look downtrodden, lives really difficult, very, very challenged people. When we told them that you could help the kids, and they were doing the breath work and sending messages back to our children, these people had tears in their eyes thanking me. Thank you for letting me help the children. And you know what? There are people who walked away from heroin because they wanted to help our kids. Every single person out there who takes the time to breathe in the light and blow out the darkness, to watch the children, to listen to these messages, every single one of you becomes a therapist for our kids. And we'll carry your message to tens of thousands and eventually hundreds of thousands. And eventually it's millions of children across the planet. You give them a purpose. You let them know, yeah, you are different than your friends. Not despite what's going on in your life, but because of it, you've become a teacher. And that's power, peace, purpose. People will do a lot to help a kid in pain. And children's lives change because of that, knowing that they become teachers. There was one child, and very often in the world of the bone marrow transplants, where many of our children have to go through transplants that rid their body of their bloodstream, the way that the blood flows in terms of their bone marrow, and then replaces it with the bone marrow from someone who's pretty much alike, so it's usually a sibling. One 7-year-old girl was sat down by her parents because her sister was sick, her baby sister, with cancer. They wanted her permission to use her bone marrow to help her sister to heal. And she thought about it, and she said yes. She said yes. The night of the bone marrow transplant, this little girl couldn't sleep. Her sister had been in the hospital preparing for the transplant. And I know well about transplants. Our daughter passed away just a few days after a transplant, but it's much different today. The night of the transplant, the 7-year-old girl who was giving her bone marrow to her sister, she couldn't sleep. And very wearily, she went to the hospital the next day and usually give an anesthetic, and they knock the child out, and they'll take from the bone in the back and pull out marrow from it. And when this little girl woke up and she saw her parents in her room, she started to cry, and she says, "What happened? How come you didn't take my bone marrow? I wanted to help my sister Sally." And I said, "No, we did. It's great. You did great. Thank you." So with tears in her eyes, this little girl said, but I thought it wasn't, I thought I was going to die. I'm alive. I thought you'd take it all out. The parents cried with her, says, "No, sweetheart, we never would have done that." But the 7-year-old girl wanted to help her sister, even to give her her life. In the world of kids kicking cancer, we learn that when we reach up for that power, and we breathe in that light, and we push out pain and fear and anger, we have a purpose. But ladies and gentlemen, you're part of our purpose. You're part of the circle that we're trying to create around the globe, a hero circle, a circle in which people are watching children stand up to cancer and pain and fear and angers and other terrible things. And not only are they not defeated, they become teachers to you. So as you continue to learn from our children how to breathe in the light and blow out the darkness, as you continue to be part of this growing circle, share this, comment, bring this to all places in the world So we can carry you and your messages as the therapists for Kids Kicking Cancer to children all over the world. And that, my friends, is power, peace,